It's predictions time. So it's WrestleMania weekend. Obviously, we have a bunch of shows. You have Supercard of Honor, but you have Supercard of Honor. You have Raw, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, NXT, WrestleMania. But we're just gonna be doing predictions for 2 shows because we ain't got time for all that. So we're gonna start with NXT Stand and Deliver. And when I'm looking at this match, when I'm looking at this card, I'm like, wow, this is a really stacked card. 7 matches. 7 matches. They'll be taking place at the Staples Center or the Crypto.com arena, I should say. And I think it's going to be a good one. We're going to start from the bottom of the card. So we got in a 8-person mixed tag team match. We have Chase University, which is Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, Thea Hale, and Tyler Bate versus Schism, Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, Rip Fowler, and Ava Rain. An added stipulation is that whoever wins this match takes control of Chase University. So if Chase University wins, Chase University stays in control of Chase University. If the Schism win, then the Schism gets control of Chase University. So I wanted to know, who do you believe is going to win this match?
I'll be honest. I've been paying attention to some parts of NXT, so I haven't kept up with Schism. Like, I liked Chase University. The last time I saw Schism, I thought they were interesting, and then they became pretty stale to me pretty fast. Has there been any interesting character development with them, and any interesting development with Ava?
Well, there's been some. I've noticed, obviously, like, guys are getting better with their promos and things of that nature. But I feel like part of the big arc in this storyline has been Duke Hudson. Obviously, he was the one who was a very, very serious character, who ended up joining the group and kind of converting into this fun character. He was the one that recommended the match. And that could arguably be something that is a big, big, big factor in this, because, he could end up leaving the group. So I think, has there been character development in general? Yes, but in this particular context, it's about Andre Chase. So,
I mean, because I'm going to be biased anyways and go with Chase University. I actually like them. They grew on me over time, and I love his character. I mean, I find like the people in his group annoying as shit, but I really like Andre's character because it's just so unique to me. Yeah. So I'm going to be biased and I'm going to choose them. But I wouldn't be surprised because, The Rock's daughter's in here. So I'm like, why would they give her first L during WrestleMania weekend? So right. What do you think?
Well, on the flip side, losing does build character. Losing can fuel the fire. And I also feel like, it could lead to something more. But in this particular context, I'm going to have to agree with you. I believe that Chase University was going to win this match. I believe that Andre Chase and Duke Hudson are a very, very fun tandem. So, we'll see what happens with that. But I think that Chase University is going to win. But on to the next match, we have a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships, where we have Gallus, the champions, versus the Creed brothers, versus the D'Angelo family. So I wanted to know, who did you have in this match?
I like the D'Angelo family. I'm going to go with them.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go with the D'Angelo family. I feel like they're kind of like the odd team out, and Tony D'Angelo has been one of the best developed characters since NXT 2.0 became a thing. And I feel like it's time to put some gold on him. Plus, I feel like Gallus and the Creed brothers, I feel like, can move up to the main roster, but that's just my opinion. But moving on from that, we have and I'm very excited about this. We have a fatal 5-way match for the NXT North American Championship. We have Wesley versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom. Who do you have in this match?
That's hard.
That is, right?
Because there's 3 names that I like. I like Axiom off of I think he was in War Games, the Survivor freaking thing, and I think I actually didn't mind him then. I always love Wesley. I'm a big fan of Wesley. I like JD McDonovan, to be honest, too. That's hard. This is really hard.
It is.
It's almost I almost don't want to choose. I don't think Wesley's gonna retain. I could see it going to JD. I'll go with JD. Even though I would like Wesley to retain, I feel like he had it long enough. What do you think?
I think Dragon Lee is going to win. Dragon Lee has been, and it's interesting, Dragon Lee has been one of the most teased characters since he's signed with NXT. And I think that, obviously it's a fatal 5-way, so I don't think that it's like an elimination style based match. So I don't think that he can eat the pin. But I think another thing is just that him winning this match would elevate him and kind of cement him as one of the top guys in the company, which is what I think that Dragon Lee is. I think Dragon Lee is one of the best in NXT. Plus, Wesley does not have to lose clean in order to lose his title, and there can be some development for him to win it back. But, I mean, you're in LA. Dragon Lee obviously has roots there. Ring of Honor crowd is going to love him heavily. Obviously, I believe he's had some matches in PWG. So I feel like Dragon Lee would just be the obvious choice and the obvious winner here. So I'm gonna go with him.
That's fair.
The next match is a tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. We have Fallon Henley versus Kiana James, who are the champions, versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So who do you have in this?
Retain.
Retain?
I think, yeah.
So I, on the contrary, believe that they're going to lose. I believe that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to win. One, because Alba Fire is probably as hot as she's ever been because of her heel turn and her allegiance with Isla Dawn. I also do believe that the conflict in that whole Kiana James Fallon Henley thing is going to boil over, because the storyline is that Kiana James is cheating on one of the Brooks brothers that she's dating on screen. Obviously, Fallon is like a sister to both of those guys, and Fallon wants to tell the guy that Kiana is cheating, but obviously they're in this tag team. But I feel like this conflict is going to boil over and is going to lead to a conflict between Kiana and Fallon. So I'm going to go with Alba and Isla. So that's my pick for them. Now, moving on to the ladder match. I think it's just a 6-way, or is it a 5? I think it's a 6-way ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Indy Hartwell versus, I don't even know how to pronounce her name, Lyra Valkyria? I don't know. Versus Tiffany Stratton versus Gigi Dolan versus Zoe Stark versus Roxanne Perez. Who do we have?
That's where this promo from yesterday came from. That was just annoying to look at. Did you see that promo with her and Shawn Michaels where she basically kind of like begged to be
part of the match?
Yeah, it was very controversial, and I didn't really like it. I don't think that's how a champion should be booked. But then some people were saying like, oh, it's part of the storyline that the only reason why she was out because of her injury, so she had to beg. Yeah. To be back in it. I'm like, I don't know why, but it just bothered me for her character. I didn't like that. Anyways, to answer your question, I don't see Gigi winning anything. I feel like she's just there for filler. Zoe Stark, I roll. I mean, I like her, but I'm not in love with her. I despite the fact she's MAGA, I actually really enjoy Tiffany Stratton, but I don't perceive her getting the belt. Indy Hartwell has been on a losing streak, right? I've seen her have like a mental breakdown.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, I could see them giving it to her because I don't personally like Indy Hartwell. I find her to be obnoxious in every sense of the word. But I feel like they love her back there. Like, I feel like they love her for some reason. So I feel like it would make sense that they would give it to her. But I'm also not surprised considering that they put Roxanne in there. that they're going to make her keep the belt. So I'm going to say Roxanne, just off of the way they put that really weird segment, because you could have just left her out. You really could have just left her out.
Right.
But it was cringe and they forced it down our throats, which leads me to think that they want Roxanne. So I'm going to go Roxanne.
That's a good pick. I'm going to go Roxanne as well. Just because since her kind of like fainting in the middle of the ring after that Miko Satomura incident, I think that they're trying to continue to build her as this ultimate underdog. And I feel like having her essentially have her surrender the title because of injury to regain it in a ladder match with 5 other women is only going to do right by her. I also feel like there's other variables in this match. I feel like JC Jane is going to interfere and get in the way of Gigi. I feel like who are the other participants? Because there's so much that's happening. So I feel like Indy and Zoe are going to go at it. I feel like Gigi's going to have an interference. I feel like Tiffany Stratton's going to be close, but I think that is going to be ultimately Roxanne. So I think that there's going to be multiple factors in this match that are actually going to lead to other stories in the women's division. But for the retaining purposes, I got Roxanne. But moving on to the next match, we have Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller in an unsanctioned match. Who do you have in this and why?
Did you skip over one?
No, well, I did, but I'm leaving that for last because that's.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just following your lead. All right. Johnny, why are you back on? Why is he? I thought he was on the main roster and he was doing something there. Why is he back down here?
Probably to do a favor to put Grayson over.
He's been doing that for so many years. Why? We don't need him to put over any more people. We need him to get himself over on the main roster. I understand NXT is his home, but this is unnecessary as hell. Like, it probably is going to be a great match. I don't put it past Johnny for that, but it's like, I feel like he can't. That like NXT is his glass ceiling if they keep doing this. Like, let him grow over there. We enjoy Johnny long enough. Just put him over there. That being said, I mean, yeah, it's going to be obvious as Grayson Waller. I feel like if Johnny Gargano wins, like, the internet's going to fucking implode. And I personally don't care to see Johnny win. I want him to be used over there. You know, even if he does annoy me sometimes with his same face, he's a great wrestler. And I feel like he could be part of more interesting storylines over there. He probably should have been on the WrestleMania card if they used him properly throughout the year and not stick him in random spots to put other people over. I'm not sure if he's fine with doing that because like he's a dad now, but to me, I just find it just odd. Like, I don't know. Does he feel like in his head the best he'll ever be presented is in NXT? So he just keeps giving back, or he's just giving to other people and pulling a Daniel Bryan? I don't know. To me, it's like, why are you setting your own self back? People call you Johnny Wrestling for a fucking reason. Like, shouldn't you want to shoot for being one of the main event guys? Yeah. You know? I don't know. Sorry I'm sidetracking here. It's just that I'm a little bit frustrated with what they're doing with Johnny. So anyways, I'm going to go Grayson Waller. What's your choice?
I actually agree with your point. I'm going to go Grayson Waller as well. I think that this has the potential to... I feel like this is a thing for 2 reasons. One, because of how Grayson Waller versus Braun Breaker ended, they needed something that was going to keep Grayson Waller in the main event picture while NXT worked on Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. I feel like if Grayson were to work with anybody else, it almost would have been like he got sent to the back of the line. But Johnny Gargano is easily one of the best superstars in the history of NXT. Plus, because main roster fans are different from NXT fans, even if he were to lose this match, it's not like the people that are fans of the WWE product of the main roster are going to really be mad or frustrated about it. Plus, I think that there are some layers to this match. One, this being Stand and Deliver, which is essentially an NXT takeover, Johnny takeover. Then on top of that, you have the fact that this is an unsanctioned match. And Johnny is known for these unsanctioned matches during WrestleMania weekend. We can go back to New Orleans versus Ciampa. And so you have that layer to it. And so now if he were to lose in this match, you're beating one of the best in the history of the brand at their own game, that automatically solidifies you as a top guy, even without the belt. So I think that there's reasons for it, and I understand those reasons, and I'm not necessarily mad at it because I think that Grayson Waller's too talented to be having a match with anyone else but Johnny Gargano. So, but I am going to go with Grayson Waller on this one. And for the final match, we have Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. Who do you have?
Part of me wants to say that Braun. Wait, no. How am I going to change my answer? I feel like one of them, whoever loses, has to go to the main roster because both parties are more than ready to go to the main roster and could be properly used. I do see them giving it to Braun Breaker because he is like down there, like the Roman Reigns of NXT, and not in a bad way. It's just that he is that guy.
Yeah,
he's just that guy. Like they have a vision for him, a vision board set up for him. He's supposed to be that guy. Like he's supposed to be established when he comes into the main roster, being a problem. So part of me sees it going to Ron off of that and just stacking his resume. And maybe letting him walk onto the main roster with the belt just to show his face and to show who that guy is. But then part of me also thinks they may just give it to Carmelo for that exact reason and then put Braun Breaker on the main roster after WrestleMania without a belt. Either way, I'm thinking ahead, and I think I see Braun being on the main roster. So, since Trick Williams is here, and he's always bullshitting and helping, I'm going to go ahead and say Carmelo's going to have it. And then Braun goes to the main roster. What do you think?
My personal opinion, I agree with you. I think that Carmelo Hayes is going to win the NXT title. And I think part of the reason is because Braun Breaker was never supposed to be the guy in NXT. This was supposed to help fast track him to the main roster so that he would be prepared for the main roster. Braun Breaker has always been a main roster guy. And if you don't believe it, watch WWE programming and see the fact that this man already has a commercial with AJ Styles. And he's in NXT. He's always supposed to be a main roster guy. And I believe that this match has to happen because Carmelo has always been seen as kind of like he kind of filled in the slot of where Velveteen Dream was, right? This charismatic.
Oh, that's a very interesting comparison.
He was the charismatic guy who can put on a great match, a great performance, and a great promo, regardless of where you put him on the card. And I believe that because of that, he definitely deserves to be the guy in NXT. And because of that, I think that's one of the reasons why he's going to get the belt. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Carmelo Hayes is going to win it. Him having Trick Williams in his corner, once again, going to be the X factor in this match. But I believe that Braun Breaker is about to go up. We've talked about Hunter having surprises for the Raw after Mania, and I believe Braun Breaker will be one of those surprises. So, we'll see, but that's just my prediction for that match. But that concludes our NXT Stand and Deliver matches. We want to know what you guys feel about these, but we're going to be moving on to WrestleMania